Today I want to just have a conversation. So there's a game in the similar genre to Raid, Dragonair, which is shutting down for the US. Now first thing, if the thumbnail title of the video insinuated that Raid is going to be shutting down, I don't believe Raid's shutting down anytime soon, but this is something you have to consider. When you're playing live service mobile games, there will be an end day. Eventually, for basically all these games, whether the players all move away, whether the company decides to stop focusing on the game, or if the country you're living in decides, hey, we don't want this game here anymore, they're going to shut it down. I believe most mobile games are going to have a lifespan. Unlike a game where many years ago you go to the store, pick it up from the store, put it in, it's a CD, you keep it forever, nobody's going to shut it down, nobody's going to take it from you. It's completely different with these online-only games. So today, we're going to take a look. I want to show first the income of Dragonair to give you some context of what may have happened. I've heard some stuff about ByteDance and Tencent and the whole TikTok ban potential, which is a reason why Dragonair may have stopped service in the US specifically. Dragonair is still up and running in all the other countries, but they're cut off the US, which that may essentially kill the game anyways, but I don't really know. I haven't played the game enough, but I did do a video a long time ago on a sponsor for the game. Now, I got a video from scratch I want to share some of the comments of, but in case you don't know what Dragonair is whatsoever, let me show you some of this video, just a little short snippet. Essentially, Dragonair was more or less an idle RPG game with some D&D type mechanics in the game, hero collector, and they had some really good graphics, honestly. The game looks solid. I wasn't going to play it because the style of it wasn't exactly what I liked, and Raid takes enough time as it is, so I really couldn't dedicate time to Dragonair, but it seemed like a game, if I wasn't playing Raid, that I would have been interested in, honestly. The graphics look good, which is a big thing for me when it comes to games. Now, looking at the revenues, though, Nuverse Games, which is the publisher of Dragonair, essentially, I think they were sold a few times, but either way, that's who's holding it right now. Go to Sensor Tower, you can see the income. Very, very loose income. This is specifically for Android. They probably have sales over on Steam. Maybe they have their own launcher. Similar thing with Plarium. A lot of purchases come through Plarium Play, so Android and Apple aren't the whole picture, basically. So with Dragonair, we have revenue last month, $400,000, which is a lot of money. But when you look at Plarium revenue last month, it's $9 million. So obviously Raid making way more money than Dragonair, but Dragonair isn't making nothing. Like, that's quite a bit of money. Now, I don't know how much it costs to actually develop those games, so maybe it's not that much. Who knows? But if we look at one of Plarium's games that have been out for a very long time, actually released in 2015, it's making $1 million last month, Vikings War of Clans. So that gives you a little bit of context. Dragonair released, I believe, a little over a year ago. So if they dropped down to $400,000 last month in revenue, now this is currently not showing the US on their revenue, so I don't know if it's actually including it in the revenue last month or not, because if you look at this list, United States is no longer there. So something to be aware of. But when it comes to games shutting down, on their Discord, or sorry, not the Discord, on their Reddit page, they posted about the game being shut down. But before this, they had no announcements that, hey, Dragonair is going through hard times. I think if you played the game, you could probably get a feel for how the community was, whether it was thriving or if it was kind of slowing down. So maybe players could have saw this coming, but it's not a complete shutdown of the game. Instead, it's specifically shutting down for US servers. So if you're somebody playing in the US, you can't play it no more. And apparently even VPNs aren't going to allow you to actually get back into the game. I don't know all the details, but essentially players down here are just all of a sudden they woke up one day and hey, the last year that you've spent inside of our game, the thousands of dollars you may have spent, it's basically all for nothing. But this is something that I also want to let you know when playing Raid that you kind of got to keep in mind, because with our accounts, while you feel like you have amazing champions, you may feel like, okay, I got all these awesome champions, I spent all this time in the game. In reality, you own absolutely nothing. Every dollar you put into Raid is their dollar now. You could possibly get it refunded in the future, but everything you invest, every hour, every minute, every dollar, everything you invest is theirs, okay? Raid can today take our accounts away from us, and there's really nothing we can do about it. Now, do I think they're going to do that? No. I don't see any reason why they would. But on the flip side, I don't think most players expected for Dragonair all of a sudden to just shut down. I want to show a few comments from Scratch's video. So this top comment, this actually is a user who used to comment on my raid videos, but they moved over to Dragonair, and they said, I think I'm weird that I'm going to finish out my current season on both accounts. I'm heartbroken. This is my favorite game I've played in years. So a lot of you could probably relate to something similar. I mean, a lot of us play Raid every single day. I mean, you're watching a YouTube video on Raid about some random stuff. So I'd say you're pretty committed to Raid and you enjoy the game. You've probably played for years as well. But there could be a day where you wake up and maybe Raid's just not around anymore and maybe it just drops. So keep in mind, keep that in the back of your mind whenever you're making purchases, whenever you're doing anything in the game. This is not to say don't make those purchases, don't do that stuff, don't have fun, because I do think you should definitely enjoy the game and definitely have fun, whatever that means to you. But it is to say there could be a day where it just disappears. For example, next comment, I'm from the US and really enjoy this game. However, I'm not going to play for much longer. Already deleted it from my phone. Very disappointed. Thanks for all your content to Scratch. So a lot of people were saying that they're from the US. They really want to continue playing. They played for a while. The first time in months that their luck's actually looking up, and now the game's just dropping off. So a lot of positive comments, but a lot of stuff like, hey, this really sucks. Like, I was spending a lot of time in this game for a long time, and now all of a sudden it's just gone. WTF is this? Literally none of it makes sense. At least give some practical explanation. With this website, you can see like a bunch of games shutting down soon. Some of them are more popular than others. Take a look at the game Puzzle and Dragons, specifically in the European and Chinese servers. They were shut down several years back, which that was in 2017 and 2018. Puzzles and Dragons was released in 2012. So they had about 5 or 6 years, I believe, if assuming this is all correct, of the game actually running before it got shut down in their respective areas. So essentially, I guess the whole purpose of this video is not to discourage you from playing Raid, because that doesn't really make sense. I mean, if you think about it, anything you do is going to be fleeting enjoyment essentially, right? So like if you were to go out and, I don't know, say go to the park and play a game of tennis. I don't know if that's fun. Maybe it's fun for you. It's going to be there for a little while and then it's not going to be. Playing Raid, it's going to be here for a little while and it's not going to be. But as long as you enjoy the time you have, I feel all like philosophical now, so I'm going to get off the soapbox in just a moment. But essentially, if you enjoy playing the game, enjoy it, but don't expect for it to be here forever. I guess that's the roundabout point of my message. But guys, this is something I wanted to bring to your attention because who knows? I don't know the exact details as to why Dragonair is shutting down specifically in the US, but even if the game is thriving and doing very well, there could be legal changes in your country where the game's not available. We literally saw it happen in Raid years ago where all the Russian servers they stopped, right? Like Raid it's not delivered in Russian no more, correct? I believe that's true, which obviously that makes sense, understandable, but it's still, hey, those players playing it, they had nothing to do with the whole political climate, the whole war, all that kind of stuff that's going on, the terrible situations over there, for sure, but still, those players, nothing to do with that. Let's see. So Russia, yeah, I don't know if Russia would even pop up there, but Ukraine will, yeah. So either way, see, that's an excellent example with Raid, obviously. I don't expect for that to happen in the US, but you never know. But with an example in Raid, you can see it right here. This was 2 years ago, Raid in Russia and Belarus. Statement from Plarium, as a response to the ongoing suffering of our employees in Ukraine, Plarium has made the decision to remove all of our games from the app stores and cease accepting Plarium Play and Plarium.com payments in Russia and Belarus. So the game removed from the app store. So depending on what country you are in, wherever you're at in the world, the game could very well someday, with no foresight into this happening, just shut down. So just keep that in mind, guys. But it's like I said, it's by no means saying you shouldn't enjoy the game, you shouldn't have fun, because that wouldn't make sense. Because anything in life is going to move on, right? But guys, thank you all very much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts on all of this stuff are. If you think Raid has a long lifespan or if you think it's going to be relatively short. Even with all the Raid is dying stuff, while Raid may not be as popular as it was, I don't see Raid dying anytime soon because the marketing budget they push behind stuff is crazy. And the dedicated player base is definitely there. So I don't see Raid dying. I would hope that games don't continue being cut off in the US, but I guess we're going to see soon enough, right? So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all. I'll catch you in the next one.